Hello, my name is Margaret Stockton. I am interested in your 4th grade position at Coloma, and I got your email about doing a video lesson and doing some of the questions that you asked. And the first one was, what is my teaching philosophy? And my philosophy is to create a respectful learning environment that fosters critical thinkers with those deeper level thinking skills. Definitely using modeling to do that and clear expectations to do that as well. The second one was, what was my interest in Coloma and why I think I would be a good fit there. My interest stems from me being originally from Hartford, Michigan, so I grew up in that area, and now that I'm living in Kalamazoo, I would like to see myself move closer that direction. My parents live there, and much smaller school districts for my son that I have. He's 2, so he will be starting kindergarten in a couple years. I think I'm a good fit for Coloma because I have 3 years of experience in an urban, very diverse population of students. I also come from the same background as a lot of the students in Coloma, rural, small town, things like that. Hartford and Coloma are pretty similar populations. The 3 most important things that I find that a teacher needs is knowing how to build strong relationships with their students. Getting to know their students and their parents and those family backgrounds is huge. It will, foster any kind of negative behavior that happens, that you can correct it right away, or that you know how to deal with those students correctly. Definitely a teacher needs to know how to use student data to drive their instruction, being able to analyze that data, being able to look at it and say, okay, this is what I need to do for this child, this is what this child needs work on, things like that. Definitely classroom management. If you don't have classroom management, it's hard to do the actual teaching. So that is one of the things that I think a strong teacher always has: strong classroom management. You can walk in and you can see that the children know the expectations, they know how to do the procedures, they know how to transition between activities, they know where things go in the classroom, they know, what's the expectation of when they sharpen their pencil, what's the expectation or the procedure for when they need to use the restroom. All those things are in place to make that classroom climate and just that classroom run smoothly. My behavior management approach would be a behavior engagement approach, definitely a preventative from the get-go in the beginning of the year. So making sure that those students feel responsible for the rules in our classroom, letting them have some kind of social contract so that we agree upon things and how we want our classroom to run at the beginning of the year, the first few weeks, and knowing the consequences of what happens when they don't do that is also a way to help them feel responsible for those things. Definitely having social contracts, student morning meetings, just kind of set the tone for the day. If somebody's already, in a bad mood, it lets me conference with them and try to get them to where they need to be headspace-wise, that they can be there. I love that you tell your students that failing is a great way of learning. My first year of teaching, I remember that I had a lesson planned for my official observation from my principal. And it was my first year teaching, and it was a magnet lesson in kindergarten, and it was a great lesson, great materials. I wrote it all out, I had it all planned, and then when it actually got to the lesson, I was not explicit enough. It was a lot of materials for 5- and 6-year-olds to handle, and I didn't anticipate that. So the lesson itself was great, but the instruction was just not there. So my observation didn't go as well as planned. Luckily, my principal was super supportive, and we talked about that, and we learned from it. And especially with 5- and 6-year-olds, you have to be very, very explicit. So since then, I've done that lesson after that, and it's been a lot better. So I hope you enjoyed my little questionnaire video, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks.